Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Twin Tapes podcast, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about ultimatums. Are they valid? Are they useless? Have you guys ever been in one? Let's talk about it. It's the Twin Tapes. We just made you do a double take. It's the Twin Tapes, and we sitting at a table for two.
J Ski.
Reski.
We back at the table for
deuces.
Deuces.
Dosey do,
Do you
my
know
boy.
how to say two in another language?
Couldn't tell you.
Got it. Me either.
Couldn't tell you. But
Well,
it's
everybody,
all good because we back at the table for two.
Welcome
I'm
back.
Jay.
I am Cherese, and you are listening to
The Twin Tapes podcast.
If you've been listening to us, thank you for rocking with us. If not, this podcast is all about conversations that you really want to be having. We
100%.
are getting below the surface, getting into the nitty gritty to live a full, enriched life, and ultimately conversations you need to be having.
100%.
So this week, we just gonna dive right into it.
Let's dive right in.
This is a disclaimer. We are
Facts.
talking about the ultimatum. Is it queer love, or is that like the catchphrase for it?
That is the one for this season. But in general, it's just a pretty interesting topic, like the topic of an ultimatum, period.
So we're going to be talking about that plus the actual show.
Exactly.
So if you have not watched it, pause, go to Netflix, watch season 2 of The Ultimatum, come back to this episode, and
Resume.
you're here with us. Resume play.
Exactly.
So, ultimatum, tell me what you think that means to you.
Well, obviously, right? Here in this
Here.
human experience moment, real time. Well, obviously, right? We're not stupid. In ultimatum, we're not dumbasses. An ultimatum is one party giving another party a pressured amount of time to make a decision.
Yeah.
And make a decision quickly. Otherwise, there is an alternative that is not as desirable.
Not favorable.
That's not favorable for either both or one party in particular.
Facts. And I think
Preferably the party that's giving the ultimatum.
Right. I think you hit the nail on the head. I
Mhm.
think it's, hey, I want this. You
I'm
don't
not-
want it.
Or not even that, right?
You're right.
I want this. You're taking too long. What's up?
What's the deal?
What are we doing?
What's the final conclusion?
What are we doing?
They are putting pressure on a question that they've wanted an answer for a while.
Exactly, right. So
while.
in terms of the show, we're talking about an ultimatum with your partner, with your significant other.
For KISSING in a little swinging tree. Marriage. Me plus you.
I had no clue where you were going with that, and my face is just like, okay.
Twins.
So yes, like
Listen, the
Cherese was
ultimatum
saying,
may end up with twins, or it may end up love lost.
fucking dolo, fucking love lost, motherfuckers. So anyway, right, the ultimatum in regards to the show on Netflix is about one partner issuing the other partner an ultimatum and being like, yo, at the end of this 6-week experiment, do you want to marry me? Which is a lot of pressure because
I want to marry you.
because 6 weeks prior, one person wasn't with it.
They were like,
for whatever reason. Right. They were fucking mixy,
Right.
tossy-turny
It
like
was
a
too
damn
hot,
Sally.
too cold in the bed.
Exactly.
Right.
Katy Perry would have vibed, but not these bitches on the ultimatum, all right?
Actually screaming.
So anyway, let's pretty much get into the review.
Pause.
What's up?
How do you feel about an ultimatum in general?
Great
how do
question.
you feel about it?
Great question. I think ultimatums can be 100% necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I think the older I get, the more I like watching shows that have to do with adult dating. And I'm talking about like real adult dating.
Mm-hmm.
Not on some love coach shit, but I just like
But talk about
watching.
it.
Right, I just like watching the dynamics of other relationships because, of course, there are gems that you could take away. There are things that you can learn that you want in a future relationship or that you want in your existing relationship, or things that you don't want, and just seeing it play out in other relationships, and maybe realizing that it's also playing out in your relationship too, and you
Yeah.
don't necessarily like that.
Right.
I just like that dynamic, and I like seeing it on screen because, like I said, it brings a lot of insight into my life and into my relationship too.
Okay, so would you say you're for an ultimatum?
2 hours later.
Generally speaking, I don't
not
see
the double.
I don't see anything wrong with an ultimatum because they really can be necessary. I watched this show with my mom. I forget what it's called, and that's kind of irrelevant. But there was a couple on the show that had been dating on and off for 10 years. No cap.
I just like fell back in my chair a little bit.
And they had an age gap too. The age gap was
how many years?
Damn, maybe 7.
10? Okay.
Maybe 7 years.
Okay.
And the woman was younger, and she had no children.
Yeah.
Right. She didn't have any children. And he already has 2 kids.
Of course.
And she wants kids, she wants to be married, whatever. He wasn't really for marriage, and she basically gave him an ultimatum. That's necessary, though.
How did that end up? Just for my purposes.
With her choosing herself, because he just wasn't with it.
Sidebar, I saw a thing on Instagram that was like, males don't reach full
like maturity
age until 43. I don't know how much I agree with it. I'm just saying I saw it.
Right.
But what you know, so here it's getting a little scurry. It's getting a little scurry. Me, myself, I'm definitely for an ultimatum.
Okay.
And I think that's because I'm for a real ass conversation. And sometimes people need a kick in the ass to have that real ass conversation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people want to live in this rose-colored glasses, fairy tale romance, or relationship in general, whether it be friends, paternal, romantic. And we like to live in this, everything's good.
Right.
But when someone says enough is enough, I think that just pressures everybody to have a real conversation and them to step back and be like, oh shit.
Right.
I think an ultimatum for me is making someone realize something, even if I'm the one that's persuading you to think a certain way, to just be objective in a sense. And I take a step back because sometimes an ultimatum can be like, I want you to think the way I'm thinking. But I'm thinking of an ultimatum in the sense that's truly objective, that's just like, hey, X, what is your answer about this?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And it just makes you think.
Yeah. Because it's like, for but so long, we can keep, dancing around the issue for but so long.
We can keep ignoring the elephant in the room for years.
I was just
and
about
be like
to say,
this couple that you just spoke about going on and off for 10 years,
a whole
regardless
decade.
of the fact of the dynamic of the relationship. You want to go on and off for someone for 10 years? I don't.
Right. To the point where you're dragging someone on television, on national television, because you genuinely feel like enough's enough. Come on. But so, in general terms, I don't really see anything wrong with an ultimatum. But if it's like, you guys have barely been together, or maybe it's only been a year, and, one party is just rushing a lot of stuff or whatever, then it's like,
when we get into the nuances of things.
If you're just being outrageous, then obviously not. But for the most part, I feel like in order to get to the point where you feel like you have to issue an ultimatum, I kind of, it might be warranted. It really might be warranted.
I agree with that.
So,
and with that, let's just jump right into the show. Again, this is Netflix's show. It is The Ultimatum.
Yep.
This is the second season of the
Correct.
show.
Correct.
And that's explicitly what we're going to talk about.
Yep.
So we're going to go run down couple by couple and just talk to you guys and really each other about what we feel about the show.
Yeah, what we thought about the show.
We're going to give a nice review.
I thought it was a very interesting show. So
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Let's start with, I'm going to just rip the freaking Band-Aid off. Aussie and Sam. Aussie and Sam.
Oh, down under.
Down under.
Down under.
First initial reaction of Aussie and Sam, or your take on their relationship as a whole.
I'll answer both, and we'll keep it brief just so that we're not dragging on for each couple. But my first initial reaction was I thought Aussie in particular was very well put together. I mean, she's 42 years old. Sometimes Americans get fooled by an accent that people have their shit together if they're British or from down under.
Right.
And
I would have to agree with that.
Right. So
100%.
Surface level, I thought Sam was nice. I thought Aussie was really put together. Again, the nature of the show, issuing the ultimatum. Sam issued the ultimatum, but
they were only together for a year too. Let's keep that in mind.
Right.
They were together for a short amount of time.
But
approximately 12 months.
Right. So it's like, okay.
And Sam is 31.
31. Yeah, she was 31.
Yeah.
31 and Aussie's 42. So clearly
Another gap.
Another age gap. Sam wanted to get married. Aussie was like, I don't know about forever, which is crazy because that's what a marriage is. But that was that. My take on their relationship was Aussie is lost. Aussie is lost, and
Peter Pan lost boy.
And having watched having watched the reunion, obviously she's not completely found. You're dealing with childhood trauma that you've never dealt with, and you're 42 years old now. It's not gonna heal itself in a year, in two maybe. You're
absolutely right. That manifested in her relationship with Mildred as well.
It sure did.
She wasn't. Aussie needs to do some soul searching.
A lot of it.
Searching. We saw it when Sam brought her friend to lunch, and the three of them went to lunch, and questions were brought up, and
simple ones at that.
She stormed out and had a mental breakdown on the curb outside of the restaurant. And then proceeded to leave, as she has done previously.
Because she is a serial offender in walking away and walking out.
That, for me, you can't do that.
Not at 42.
For me, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you can't do that. Even we saw that brought up with Mildred. They were having a conversation, getting ready for an outing with all of the couples.
Yep. And
Aussie wants to bring up, you make me look bad on camera, mate. And Mildred's like, what are you talking about? And she goes,
basically, I'd rather not talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it right now.
So why bring it up, bro?
Mildred got mad, as she should.
Right.
And now it's a whole big ordeal that just spewed out into everything and ultimately ended up to her leaving the entire experiment a week early.
That's wild.
I was passing a lot of judgment when I was watching the show and we were talking about it, but it just leads to you need to do more inside.
Yeah, you need to do more internal work.
You need to reflect.
You do.
More internal work.
You have to.
I love the name of that.
Yeah.
I never heard those words paired together.
Me either. I just coined it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do more internal work.
Are you kidding?
You have to do more work on yourself.
That was not the first time we saw her on the show walk away from a conversation that she wasn't comfortable with. So every conversation you get in, you want to walk away.
And the particularly sad part about that is that none of that was really placing fault on her. Like none of those interactions warranted her.
You're absolutely right.
Walking out. But the thing about feeling triggered is that any little thing can trigger you.
Say that again.
The thing about being triggered is that any little thing can trigger you. So if you've never learned to deal with your emotions from a specific event that traumatized you, or a culmination of events that traumatized you, anything that remotely looks like that event, it brings you back to that moment in time. And now your mind doesn't know that you're not in that time anymore.
Right. You're not a child.
You're
That can't be
not,
perfect.
Right. You're not in that moment in your life, but your mind doesn't know the difference. So now outwardly that's manifesting as a 42-year-old who's getting triggered by a simple question like, how do you think our communication is going to improve moving forward? 100% triggered, storming away,
And a valid
yelling,
question at that.
fist balled up, screaming, sitting on the curb of a restaurant, nose running because I didn't do shit. All because she's asking you a simple question.
She's
that
saying,
is crazy.
How do you think about this? Because I feel about that. And that's what triggered her.
And it's like, you're dealing with one of the most understanding people I've ever witnessed in my real life.
She's saying, do you think the new Sam 2.0 is coming at you like this because XYZ? No, maybe it's because I've learned to speak up for myself. That's bullshit, mate.
Yeah, and then she has this thing where she starts calling people mate when she's upset.
Mad.
Which I'm like, all right, so that's her version of bro.
Right.
So
that's her version of bruh.
Literally.
Mate.
Literally.
Sam even said mate.
Yeah, you calling me mate all of a sudden, but
right.
But yeah, so yeah, my takeaway on that is I feel like Sam is not giving herself enough credit in her ability to find someone that actually can match her, because I think she's a wonderful human being. And I was telling you this.
I would have to agree.
I was telling you this when we were watching it. Aussie mentioned that Sam is the one for her, but I don't think Aussie is the one for Sam. And that's the particularly sad part about that, is that you think that you found your one. And the thing is, I believe Aussie. I believe that Aussie genuinely thinks that Sam is the one for her.
Right.
But it's not reciprocated. It's not.
Even when she accepted that rock with the whole penguin story, which I loved because I love fun facts.
You love fun facts and you love a good metaphor.
Listen. And she was like, thanks. Like the boy with the avocado. Yeah. She said, thanks.
A pebble. Thanks.
Will you marry me? Yeah. There was no like reassurance for me in that. There was no like, oh my God, I'm super happy. Yes, you finally did this, blah, blah, blah. Like she forgot extremely why she issued the ultimatum, even with the troubles that she had with Tiff. And that was troublesome. You know what I mean?
That was like, extremely troublesome.
I don't think she was sure.
You think it's a thing of that she forgot why she issued the ultimatum?
No, I think she settled with Aussie, and then I don't think she forgot why she issued the ultimatum. I thought, personally, that she was pressured by the cameras.
But if that's true, then why are they still together?
Because some people settle, Jay.
I agree.
Why is your bed on the floor, Jay? Because some people freaking settle, Jay.
No, you are 100% correct about that.
You know, now I'm making up all these things, but I just feel like she thought in her mind, I can't do any better than this. And we went through this whole experience, and why would I not say yes on camera? Yeah. That's literally what I thought she was thinking.
Really? Wow.
When I do agree with you, I think Aussie is not Sam's perfect match. Let's go to Are You the One? Another show that we love. No.
Definitely not. Like bring it into fucking Are You the One? If they went in the truth booth, that shit would not be a beam.
If they went in the truth booth, that shit would be like, eh. And they'd be like, and then they try to find someone else.
Exactly.
All 16 of those people, there were 4 times 2 is 8.
What are you talking about?
Couples?
You haven't on what? The ultimatum?
The ultimatum. 4 couples times 2.
You said 8 couples?
4 couples.
Yeah.
4 times 2 is 8.
Yeah.
There are only 8 of them. Damn, that's a small amount.
It's a small group.
Anywho.
Yeah.
They need to go on. They should have been on Are You the One?
They should have
They should have been on
show.
Are You the One season 8. That's what they should have been on.
They should have a show where they combine it.
because they were not, I truly feel they're not a match.
No, they're not.
They're not a match.
They're not. They're not.
So
they're not a true match.
Let's go into Mildred now, because Mildred, even when she was doing her trial marriage with Aussie, was kind of like deflecting back to Sam, like, did you feel this about Aussie? Did you feel that? And they were, they had a good type relationship. And for them, it was an even swap. They swapped each other.
Yes. So
Aussie and Sam, Mildred and Tiff, they literally swapped each other.
Yeah.
And
they
Aussie
were with
ended
each
up
other's
with
partners.
Mildred, and Sam ended up with Tiff.
Yep.
And that's a whole other big ordeal. But I think Tiff felt the same way that Sam did prior to her, finding her new voice, Sam 2.0, if you want to speak, which they talked about. But
in such a negative light as
such
well.
A negative light.
As if
like finding your voice is a bad thing. Speaking up is a bad thing. Oh, Aussie was like, oh, this is Sam 2.0. Ha ha. Now she doesn't listen to me. Blah, blah, blah.
Mini Mildred. Like,
right.
Unbelievable.
Right. Mini Mildred.
Because you don't ever want to talk about anything that doesn't involve candy and butterflies. Shut the fuck up. Grow up. At 42, I'm sorry. Towards the end of the show, I'm just like, get this bitch off the camera.
No,
like,
for
real.
For real.
Grow up,
because
mate.
There's a point where you experience your childhood experiences.
Yeah.
You get out into the real world and you say to yourself, this is not what I want.
Right.
And you, a queer person, have definitely had to have felt that. So the fact that you're still feeling your familial ties to you so strong and all these influences on you, enough is enough.
Yeah, because at some point, once you know better, you have to do better. And it's like, you're telling me in these past 42 years, you haven't gained some insight about how you were raised versus how, other people have been raised, or, okay,
right,
maybe
the
pressure that I felt as a child is abnormal. Maybe, like whatever. And you've just never thought about that, or nobody you've ever crossed paths with has ever told you, like, you suck at communicating. You're a horrible communicator.
You're doing too less.
Yo, you know that you always walk away from conversations, right? Yo, like, nobody has ever told you about yourself.
What I want to know is
enough for you to want to change. No. Yeah. I just had to say that part. I'm sorry.
That's enough for you to want to change.
Because yeah.
And for me, what I want to know is Sam your first real relationship?
That's all. I want to
know that, because
I also wondered that as well.
This, for me, I have to lean towards yes.
First love vibes?
Yes. Because
I can't let you go vibes?
Because not even I can't let you go. It's giving like you're the first person that's caused opposition in my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's giving to me. So if you went through multiple people, I think the first person you meet is Mildred and you walk off within 2 weeks and you don't come back, Sam had to have been your first real relationship. There's no way. There's no way.
Maybe,
because a new person comes in and is like, nah, you can't communicate like that. And you're like, I'm done, mate. Can I just walk away?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking that the whole time. Like, is this your first real relationship?
I know.
Real?
And it might be.
Or you want to give me a freaking rock that I'm going to use as a paperweight on my desk and then a ring?
I mean, and just the fact of knowing that Aussie's family doesn't even know the truth about her. She proposed to Sam. Aussie's family still doesn't know that. So your family doesn't even know that you're gay. And now your family doesn't even know that you're engaged.
Besides one family member, hopefully her brother knows at least that she's engaged.
Right.
But for me, it's like, and this was after a year. When the host said, it's been a year now, how have you guys been?
Right.
What? And you still haven't met family?
Yeah, that's insane.
Red flag, Sam. Red flag.
But like you said, Sam is settling in that. That's
just like Summer Walker said.
Like that's something that I wouldn't deal with because I'm grown. Like, I'm not a kid. Like, you're not gonna uh, what like you're not gonna hide this relationship from anyone.
And that's
crazy.
That's where maturity differs for different people.
Yeah.
Because you could be 42 like Aussie,
right.
or you could be 24 like Lexi.
Yeah.
Sure, in your mind. So let's go to Lexi. We'll couple off from Mildred and Tiff for a second. Let's go to Lexi
and
Ray. And
all right, so I'll pose the same question to you so that you can talk about them. What was your first initial reaction of them, and then what was your takeaway having watched the whole season?
Initial reaction is that Lexi is so much more in love with Ray than Ray is with Lexi.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a mutual.
I just felt so bad.
Mutual fun.
It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Yeah.
And she was just pouring into this girl, telling her all the ways she loved her, X, Y, and Z, up and down, could paint a picture with her freaking mind.
The motherfucking sweet nothings.
Like, and then Ray was just like, yeah, same. Me too. Like,
she was hitting her with the one-liners.
Still coupling that with, I'm not sure. What if?
Right.
And I just couldn't believe how unsure Lexi, how sure Lexi was when Ray was so unsure.
Yeah.
And she didn't even peep that. She didn't even, for me, hear what Lexi was saying back to her because it wasn't mutual.
Right.
I love you because that's what Lexi would say. And Ray would say, me too.
Yeah.
How do you love me back?
Yeah.
How do you love me back?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I couldn't believe Ray was 27 not coming with the insecurities or unsureties.
Indecision.
But I made up that word. I wanted it to be fun. I didn't want to be technical.
Got you.
But I just couldn't believe how she was with Lexi because Lexi was so short.
Yeah.
It's okay. Listen, late 20s, it's okay to be unsure. It's okay to be questioning marriage. And we met a lot of the parents and saw their views of it and how they interacted with each other's ex-lovers, present marriage trial people, and all this stuff. And for me, I wasn't so perturbed by the fact that she was unsure. I was just so confused by the fact that Lexi wanted this girl that was so unsure. That was my initial reaction. And then, post-reunion, besides the disclaimer, which we'll talk about a little later, I was still so surprised to see them locked and loaded at the end.
Were you?
Yes. Yes, because I didn't think that was a relationship that Ray needed to be in. Because she was so unsure.
Yeah. Ray, like Aussie, she needs to find herself. Yeah. She was going through it on the show. She was talking about, I don't know why anybody loves me. I don't know if I deserve to be loved. I don't know myself. All of these questions that you're having at 27, you're really lost. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing to be lost, but these are some of the questions. I don't know. Like, has any of those questions ever run through your mind? Like, to me, that's actually like showing some signs of depression to me. That's the only reason why I'm asking you. Have you ever wondered those things?
100%.
Interesting.
100%.
Do you ever think that you were depressed?
No. I think it's valid as a single person to wonder.
But she wasn't single, though.
Right. I'm speaking for me.
Right.
You asked me a question.
Fair.
Have I ever thought, am I capable of being loved? 100%.
Yeah.
In a relationship, you need to figure that out by yourself.
Yeah.
Because this person is showing you so much love and you're still questioning why.
Yeah.
That's something to question.
I think
you
that's
know what
just
I
why
mean?
I was so perplexed by that whole situation. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Let me say, I know I'm capable to be loved. If there's any suitable lovers out there, come find me. But
any potential suitors.
Right. But no, in a relationship, I should not have to question the value of myself.
Right.
in a relationship.
Right.
Because regardless of the relationship, you need to know your value.
Yes.
You need to know your worth.
Definitely.
You need to know you're capable of loving.
A lot of people fail by trying to find sense of self via another person.
Via another person.
That will never work. Never work.
And this is why you are in the ultimatum predicament to start with. Which
why?
is, what do you mean why?
What? No, what were you saying? You're in the ultimatum predicament
because you're questioning your self-worth. You're questioning your self-value.
I don't agree.
You can't love anybody without loving yourself first.
That's not why people are in the ultimatum.
That's why I think.
Interesting. I don't agree.
Somebody that's sure is asking you if you're sure.
Yeah.
And your follow-up question is, I don't even know if I'm worth loving. That's why we're in the ultimatum. That's why we're questioning things. Because I'm doing these things. I'm showing my love. I'm going to bed. I want to take you here. I want to marry you there. I want to do da-da-da-da. And you're still at, I don't know if I'm worth loving. And I've been trying to tell you and I've been showing you and telling you actively that I love you each and every single way. And you're still at the point where, am I worth loving?
Right.
No.
So you're talking about them specifically. Oh. I thought you meant an ultimatum in general.
No, I'm talking about Ray and Lexi.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking about Ray and Lexi.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
She, again, just like you said, with Aussie, needs to go on a self-exploration journey.
Right.
They need to go see.
You ever heard of the quote, "We accept the love we think we deserve"?
100%.
I don't think that's a one-size-fits-all statement. And I actually don't really like that statement because I don't think that that's true.
Okay, that's interesting.
Not all the time.
Okay.
I think that's like an exception. We accept the love we think we deserve. For Ray, that is 100% true. Meaning, well, actually, no. Oh God.
It's okay. You this is exactly what that's for.
Now
that's why
I'm questioning my thoughts.
That's true for me.
Okay. Better
Go
yet.
ahead.
Lexi has so much love for Ray. Ray says the words, "I love you."
Right.
But the whole reason why she issued the ultimatum is because she wants somebody to choose her. So is that Lexi accepting that love that she thinks she deserves from Ray? Ray's barely giving her anything.
And that's why she issued the ultimatum, because she doesn't accept that answer.
Yeah.
She doesn't accept that answer. But I think for Ray, she was so valid in like, yeah, this person is doing XYZ for me. Like, I like this. I love it. I love it.
But for a while, Lexi was accepting that love.
Right. But she didn't because she's on the show.
So it's not true all the time.
I think you're kind of right.
Because it's like, we accept the love we think we deserve. Not all the time, because she felt like she deserved more.
But then at times, I don't think so.
Which is why it's not true all the time.
You're right.
We accept the love we think we deserve. I think that sounds like pretty.
Right.
But it's like, when you really break that down,
it's like in a bow.
It's like, yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? We accept the love we think we deserve.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's actually the opposite. We accept the love that we don't deserve. Kind of like saying we accept the breadcrumbs. We accept these red flags. Some people know that they're in a messy situation and they're hoping for the best. So they're still taking whatever they can get from someone.
Because they think they deserve that.
No. They are hopeful. When you are hopeful, you actually know you deserve more, but you're hoping that this person will come around and realize, it's not even necessarily a thing about doing you dirty, but it's like, if someone is in a relationship with Jack and Jill are in a relationship and Jack is pouring his heart out to Jill and Jill is giving breadcrumbs. But Jack is so hopeful that by all of his efforts, she'll see exactly the kind of value that he's bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And that she'll come around and reciprocate the love that he has shown her.
Mm-hmm.
So he's accepting the breadcrumbs in hopes that she will eventually come around. But he knows that they're breadcrumbs. He knows that he deserves more. But he's still accepting the love.
I don't think he knows that they're breadcrumbs because Lexi was
in the hypothetical, I'm saying he knows that.
Right. For me, Lexi has rose-colored glasses on. She doesn't know that Ray is giving her the bare minimum.
Well, not
She's
so
like,
much so because
I want to build a family with you. Me too.
But not so much so. They're on the ultimatum.
Right.
They would have never gotten to that step if Lexi was like, "You're giving me bullshit."
No, I know that, but there's still a little delusion in her head. You feel me? Like, do you get it a little? Or no?
I don't know about delusion as more so it's hopefulness. It's hopefulness like, all right, I'm a pressure her with this ultimatum so that maybe she'll feel the pressure to want to get married. In that case, was that right? Not really, because what's her face is not
and then
healed.
They ended up not even being together.
Ray is not
because
not healed. Like we need to start normalizing as a culture. We need to start normalizing being secure with yourself first before you decide to jump into a relationship.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have to.
I think we're kind of starting to realize that as a society.
You've gotta.
But because like I said before, you will never find sense of self via someone else because they might have you losing yourself. So you can't
more times than likely.
Yeah, more times than not. Like
you'll lose yourself.
Yes, you do lose yourself by being with someone. And that could be, because of compromise, or that could be because like
you're trying to change yourself.
You're right. You're trying to change yourself.
And speaking of people that don't really realize what they're doing, right? Like Ray is saying these things and they're translating to Lexi a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the main thing.
Yes.
Lexi was interpreting what Ray was saying as true love.
Well, no.
To a certain extent, though. To a certain extent.
It's okay if we don't agree.
No, I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just saying, like...
Oh, you're not?
Lexi was interpreting what Ray was saying to a certain extent because she was still ride or die. Like, and I think that's where
But you're saying like she was accepting it as true love. I don't know about that.
No, she was.
You're not her.
She's the only person I can see myself with. I love her. Fuck Vanessa and la la la. But I wanted to get into Vanessa because I think this is another. I told you, I thought Lexi was delusional being with Ray.
You were saying that.
I think Vanessa is the most delusional person I've ever come in contact with, and not even physically via screen.
Right.
I think she needs to apply to the New York Film Academy and start acting
100%.
Because
she was capping all season.
Was capping all season, and she's so theatrical and doesn't have a serious bone in her body.
No.
And I don't give a fuck what she says about the reunion. I've found my ways. I've changed my ways, but I need to see it.
Yeah, I
need to see it.
Like a lot of people know how to string a beautifully worded sentence together, but that's all good and well.
What's her undergrad degree in? It's probably English or creative writing because she knows public relations, communication, something. She knows how to talk.
Shit can sound beautiful, and like we always said while we were watching the show, like, this bitch is just hitting all the fucking buzzwords now.
You know why? Because she needs to be in a polyamorous relationship.
You keep saying that. I just think she needs to be single.
Relationship.
She just needs to be single.
She wants somebody. She likes the security of having somebody.
That could be true.
I don't think she needs to be single.
Just not for long.
I don't think she needs to be single. I think she either needs to be A, in an open relationship, or 2, in a polyamorous relationship.
Yeah.
Be poly.
Yeah.
And I'm not shitting on you for that.
Yeah, no,
that lifestyle works.
Yeah.
And it works for people.
Yeah.
So do that. But don't marry somebody just because you don't want to lose them.
Right.
You don't want Xander.
Right.
You don't want Xander's kids. You
Right.
said Xander's kids will be Xander's kids and my kids will be my kids.
Which
Have
is
you lost
that's the wildest
your
sentence.
absolute fucking mind?
That is the wildest sentence to
because
even
they're
say.
your eggs and my eggs. They're going to be separate children and we don't claim them together, but we're in a relationship.
And we're
How
married
the
and we have a family?
How the fuck does that make sense?
That makes no
You
sense.
need to be not with this person, period.
Right.
And you need to not be married.
No. Not to one person at least, like you're saying. Not
You
to one
took
person because you
Ray
don't want
at-
one person.
You took Ray as if you were going to the club, you hooked up with somebody for one night, and you came back home. That's
That's it.
exactly what that was.
That's it.
It wasn't a trial marriage.
No, it wasn't.
You took
And I
it
hate when
as,
she
I'm
says
going to have
that.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have fun. I'm going to do what I want.
Yep.
And oh my God, Xander felt the type of way about it. I'm sorry. Or Lexi felt the type of way about it. I'm sorry. I didn't
Right.
mean anything. Ray, this is really heavy for you. I'm sorry.
Right.
No, you're saying sorry because people felt the type of way about it. If people didn't care, if everybody said, Lexi, Ray, and Xander said, well, this is part of the experiment, Vanessa would be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
She only felt bad because people felt bad.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
So just to break down their relationship, because that's a really interesting one because of Vanessa and because of the type of person she is. What was your first take on their relationship, and then what was your takeaway?
I thought Vanessa was theatrical from the jump.
Yeah.
I thought
agree.
Xander was a pushover.
I agree.
Like I said in the last episode, Burnout, I thought Xander was a rug.
Definitely.
A shag rug on the floor.
A doormat, getting walked all over.
Getting walked all over. And I thought Xander
okay.
deserved so much more than Vanessa because she was so theatrical. And so Xander can't find anybody. Oh, we're getting on this. There's no way Xander will find anybody. Fact that you thought that Xander wouldn't find anybody on this show, again, selfish, delusional,
narcissistic,
you thought you were going to come on here and have a good time until you came back and saw yourself on TV.
She thought that she was going to come in, have a great time, do what she wants to do, and Xander would be miserable because Xander doesn't want anybody else but me. That's the delusion. That's the delusional story that you told yourself. And you convinced yourself and you believe to be true.
And now Xander done fall in love with somebody else. And now it's, I want to get married and I want to get married to Xander. And I can't believe what I had with Xander.
Because you see Xander starting to retract from you now.
Love that fucking Vanessa's dad was on that shit with the fucking monocle, bro.
Yep.
Like, that dude for me stuck out within the 10 episodes.
Vanessa's dad said a quote. Because he works in IT.
Yes.
And he said, what I learned from IT is that 99% right is 100% wrong.
That shit stuck with me so heavy. And I have to call you out because you didn't get it at first.
Listen.
I have to. I'm sorry. I'm your sister. I have to call you out on it.
That's fine.
And
shut the fuck up.
Once I explained it, Jay was like, oh shit, right. Because in this life, I get why people settle. I get it.
It's hard. It's hard.
Why?
It's hard.
And I'm biased because I've been single for a while. So
sometimes
I'm used to not settling.
Right. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, kind of what we talk about off camera, just briefly.
Yeah.
You find yourself in these predicaments either doing and or accepting things that you swear you would never. You find yourself in these situations that you are accepting behaviors that you would never.
It's not even that for me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just bending over backwards for people. No,
that too.
For me, that doesn't equivalent. If that's not a word.
It's fine.
But I made it up.
Equate?
But no, I said equivalent.
I know.
It's equate.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the word you look for is equate.
Yikes!
It's all
but
good.
I find myself bending over backwards for people that I like because I'm now in this predicament that like, oh, damn, no one else is going to like me. They showed interest in me.
But I have to. You're literally proving my point, though.
What's your point?
You literally just said, I find myself bending over backwards for people that I like because I don't know what were we gonna say? Because I did cut you off prematurely. I'm sorry.
Don't even remember.
It's all good. But you're basically saying is it that you find yourself doing things that you wouldn't do? Or and maybe
No.
accepting behaviors that like are not okay to you?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm very firm in my beliefs and I don't waver from those. So I understand doing that, but Vanessa just took that to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Like she was like, oh, I'm losing this person. I got to get them back.
Right.
And that's where Mark, her dad, came into a big play and was like,
listen,
you just don't want to lose this person.
Yeah. He was like, yeah. He basically said you can't deny that a large part of you feeling this way is because you don't want to lose Xander. And you actually can finally see.
She's on to, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And she was like, yeah, that's true, but it's like, stop. It's the truth. You know it's the truth. You just, I don't know, man. She's just delusional. I don't even know if you call it delusion at that point. But she was just dead set on, I think more than anything, she was just utterly shocked because I really
Someone read her for filth?
No, shocked in Xander's behavior. Like she genuinely believed the story that she told herself that I have Xander wrapped around my finger. Whatever I do because of my past behavior and her past acceptance proves to me that it doesn't matter what I do. She will still want me. She'll still want to be with me. She'll still want to continue this relationship with me. She'll still love me because we've done this before.
Which is horrible.
That's taking advantage of someone.
And I'm just so glad that Xander saw her for that. Came up to the last show and was like, I don't think we're at that point where we were before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Xander was like, I was so sure I wanted to be with you. And then we did this and now we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
And I know it and I think you know it too.
Yep.
And Vanessa was trying to convince herself so much that she wanted to be with Xander. I mean, she never considered Xander's feelings, ever.
She took advantage of her.
So when Xander finds themselves in a situation like, oh, I like this other person. Now it's, oh, I'm going to bat for you. Where was this in our 4-year relationship?
Exactly.
4 years?
Exactly.
That's not. I know a year goes by. That's why Sam and Aussie, I'm like, I don't really take them seriously because a year flies by. But
yeah,
they were in a relationship for 4 years. It was like Yoli and Mal were in a relationship for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Even Mildred and Tiff, another 3 years or so.
Yeah.
Who was the other couple? Oh, Lexi and Ray, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
That is something I get. And that's why I get why Yoli was so like conflicted.
OD.
Because
she was very conflicted.
She's like, I like this person, Xander.
Right.
That I formed a relationship with in 3 weeks, but I have such a loyalty to Mal because we've been through some shit for 4 years.
Right. So you feel indebted to her. And is that a good reason to get married to someone?
Absolutely not.
That literally sounds contractual. Like,
right.
That sounds
even
like
though, devil's advocate, marriage is a contract.
Yeah, I mean,
marriage is a contract.
Yeah.
Marriage was conceptualized to just keep women endowed to men. Period.
I don't know the history about all that.
No. I do.
Oh, okay.
So when you look at that, when you look at the history, just another property keeping thing that we've kind of conceptualized and pushed decades on decades and centuries on centuries. Right. It's kind of that.
Maybe try to take the term and change the narrative a little bit.
You can get married at the courthouse. Marriage is a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Marriage is not about love. It was never about love.
Right. It was never about it.
It was about claiming someone as your property.
That's crazy.
So when we think about that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And we've come to now 2023 being able to marry who we love.
Mhm.
And we talk about the queer ultimatum. We talk about gay rights and LGBTQ plus IA, how long it's taken this community to get the ability to choose.
Mhm.
This is not something you should do because you feel pressured. This
Right.
is not something you should do because you feel like
Indebted.
an ultimatum is weighing on you.
Yeah, like you feel indebted, like you feel like, well, the smart thing for me to do would be to do this, but I kind of really don't want to do it.
Right? And I never really thought about like the background of that. It's so funny because I think that there are so many issues we go through now where we could trace it back to, well, how did this come to be?
Mm-hmm. Like what? What are you talking about?
Just like we look at the queer, the ultimatum,
mm-hmm.
the queer season, and we think about how long it's taken for this community to actually be able to marry each other.
Yeah.
Like we never think about that.
No.
I think that's our problem with now, 2023, current society.
Well,
we want everything fast. We want it instant gratification. You know?
Yeah, well, that's because people take a lot of things for granted now.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
it's like, right, like, I guess, like, gay marriage, it's not as pressing as it was. So,
Right.
okay, we take it for granted now.
Right. And then
Like-
you see states like Florida saying, oh, you can't say gay now.
Right.
Like it's
You know,
it's just crazy to me. So
Yeah.
I'm it's really interesting how this conversation got for me to
Mhm.
think about that.
mhm,
The
mhm.
thought process. Like
Yeah.
I never really thought about that
Me either.
in conjunction with this show.
I mean, me either.
Yeah.
Because again, like that's just like a fact that it's kind of just assumed now, hence being taken for granted. So
Mhm.
that's why I didn't think about it much either. I'm just like my whole thing is again, what Vanessa's dad said, 99% right is 100% wrong. Yoli was never 100% committed to that yes that she initially said
Mhm.
to Mal's proposal.
Or Xander.
Exactly. She was never 100% about either of them. And look at this the status of of both of those relationships. She doesn't have anything with Xander, and she doesn't have anything with Mal anymore because she couldn't for the life of her make a decision.
Mhm.
She was paralyzed by the paradox of choice, which the paradox of choice is having too many options. And in this case, for her, having two people was too many, was one too many.
Mhm.
It was just one too many,
Mhm.
especially because for her, both parties were at that time showing up for her the way
Right.
that she wanted them to show up.
Right.
The only reason why
So
she felt
conflicting.
the only reason why she felt indebted to Mal is because for so long, for these past 3
History.
years, Mal clearly hasn't shown up for Yoli the way that Yoli wanted her to. And now, over the course of these 6 weeks, she has. So
Not
it's
e-
like,
Not
okay.
even 6, 3.
Yeah, 3 for the period of the trial marriage.
Mhm.
So now it's like, wow, okay. I got this person that I've wanted, and now they want what I want. This is great. But again, like I always said, too little, too late. That's what I always thought about them.
Day late and
Too-
$1 short.
A day late and $1 short. It doesn't matter. Like people have timelines, whether they even recognize that or not. Just like Vanessa and Xander.
Mhm.
Xander was like, yo, you're finally saying these things that I wanted to hear, and they sit at a lower register now. It's like,
I love when Xander said that.
yeah, it's like, damn, okay. I guess I've been waiting for so long. It don't even matter anymore.
Doesn't.
Because now my feelings are, I'm off this shit now. I'm off it. Oh, you're on that shit? Man, I've been on that shit and now I'm off. Because you're wasting my time, kind
You
of.
want to come on this show and act brand new?
You're
Okay, cool.
kind of wasting my time.
For me, it was like, you want to come on this show and act brand new.
Yeah.
You want to come to me 3 weeks after I did my trial marriage with someone who I actually happened to fall in love with
Right.
and say, now because you know I fall in love with another person, I want you?
Right. Right. That's literally what
It's
Mal
the
said to
freaking-
Yoli.
The
and that's
car
what
thing.
Yeah. It's what
That's
Mal.
red.
It's what Mal said to Yoli, and it's what Vanessa said to Xander. And I feel like for both of those relationships, Mal and Vanessa were a day late and $1 short for both of their relationships.
I agree.
So it's no wonder that either of those relationships didn't work out.
I agree. Let's pivot and talk about one thing that I think was just funny. End it on some comic relief. The pets. The pets.
Oh, shit, man.
The Ultimatum, because I saw that on a thread on Instagram.
Dogs. What was the thread about?
It was just like literally the pets on the Ultimatum.
Oh my God. All right. First of all, I know what it's like living with a dog, and I have a lot of love for dogs now. Cherese and I didn't grow up with a dog, but my girlfriend has a dog now, so I really get it. But I don't know, like you just really look crazy. Like if you're like talking about your dog and then like you're crying about it, or like you're like you didn't even cook Tiff. You didn't even cook Sam a meal, but you made fucking
sweet potatoes, tuna,
sweet potato
and another
fries, a turkey burger, and chicken for fucking Shiloh, the dog.
2 proteins?
Shiloh, the pet dog.
For a dog?
Had a 3-course meal
with 2 proteins. I have to add that.
Double protein.
I went to Chipotle today. Any protein? I was like, chicken? Now I'm like, this dog had 2 proteins, and I got the Chipotle worker going like,
right.
A little bit of chicken in my salad bowl.
And this bitch Sam's probably fixing herself a goddamn bowl of goddamn cereal.
Or ordering DoorDash or Uber Eats because the bitch is starving.
Because Tiff refuses to cater to anybody besides fucking Shiloh.
Knowing that prior episodes, Tiff is a chef in the kitchen. Mildred was like, yeah, Tiff cooks for me.
And when Tiff cooks, I don't help.
Tiff cooks, I don't help. Tiff cooks for me. Oh, so you're cooking a 3-course meal for the dog.
How do you feel about pets in beds?
Again, disclaimer, I've never grown up with a pet. I love pets, specifically dogs. Cats weird me out. I'm actually, fun fact, allergic to cats.
I didn't know they weird you out. That's something new I ain't know about you. How they weird you out?
Only because, like, I just be seeing mad videos on social media of cats, grown kittens, cats.
Okay.
Being aggressive. And I don't.
Yeah.
Why would I have an animal?
Right.
Prancing around my home like they own the place.
Yeah.
And then smacking me in the face. No. So, particularly if it comes to just basic cats and dogs, I'm more of a dog person. I love all dogs.
And all dogs go to heaven.
All dogs go to heaven. That is completely 150,000% true.
True.
But not my bed. Christy, I'm talking about you. I went to my friend's house this past weekend. Her dog was like digging in the dirt. Came over to us to say hi. I'm rubbing him in the face. Steps on my white sneakers. And now I have to, and my mom doesn't let me wash my sneakers in the wash. So now I have to go to a public laundromat and wash my sneakers because my all white Adidas are now brown.
Damn.
Brown. Was I mad? No.
Yeah.
That I come home and be like, damn, my sneakers are dirty.
Right. Like you got to live with that.
Was it my friend's fault? Absolutely not. He's a dog.
Right.
But like knowing that little inconvenience can happen every single day.
100. Yo, crazy. I'm telling you.
Dogs eat shit. They bite shit. They make people annoyed. They do it all over again.
And it's just like
all I was doing was sitting there with my feet on the ground. Finley puts one paw on my sneaker after he was digging like a maniac trying to find some treasure. And my sneakers are now brown? Both.
Damn.
Right and left.
Damn.
Chrissy, I know you're going to laugh about this. It's okay.
Damn.
But like...
That is inconvenient.
I'd still want one, though. I'd still want a dog.
So, my experience...
That's how I feel about pets. I feel like they're... I tell my friends all the time, I'm sorry to cut you off. Mm. Pets are children. Pets are children.
100%.
You have to feed them, sometimes burp them, put them to bed,
What fucking
Read them a
dog
lullaby,
gets
dog. Get
burped?
off here.
What the fuck?
Get
He said
But like, you
sometimes
have to do
burp
a
'em.
lot of the things you do with a newborn child to your pet.
The problem is that kids grow up and they can do for themselves. Like,
Dogs,
no, a dog can't feed himself.
dogs never do.
A dog,
No,
like,
no. You
like,
can teach him all the fucking tricks in the world.
yeah, like, but you
you
still
gotta-
have to put out food for the dog. You have to walk your dog. You have, like, you gotta
10 years, you go away.
you
You still
gotta-
gotta be like, can you watch my dog? I'm going
you
on
gotta
vacation
you gotta
for 2
make
weeks.
sure. I mean, you turn around 1 second and now your dog literally is eating something. Dead serious. It's
That
ridiculous.
he shouldn't be.
That he shouldn't be. That he or she shouldn't be. So my experience with living with a dog is that dogs are fine, but small dogs would be more ideal for me because I can handle a small dog.
You
My
pick 'em
girlfriend's
up.
dog is big. She's in the way. And she's actually so funny because she
The
just
dog?
yeah. Like
Or
she's
your girlfriend. I'm being funny.
she's in the way and like she doesn't care. She doesn't move.
Yeah.
We're always walking around her like she doesn't even flinch.
Yeah.
We'll be vacuuming and we'll get mad close to her face and she's not moving.
Mhm.
She doesn't care, but
Mhm.
she's big and like sometimes it's funny and other times it's annoying.
Right.
Dogs also bark their goddamn heads off. I would really have to look into like what breed doesn't bark that much.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my girlfriend's dog is very, very codependent on humans. Didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to leave her alone
Mm-hmm.
without her literally crying.
Mm-hmm.
And how sad is that?
Right.
So it's
That's
like
how I am when I'm home alone. I cry.
I would need a small dog that's pretty much self-sufficient as far as like not
So you need a cat. So you need a cat. We say all this to say.
So I need a kitten.
Right. You need a. Oh
I
my
need
God, I love kittens, but I'm allergic. I'll be sneezing up a storm.
So you don't need a kitten. Period.
I would get a hypoallergenic one.
That's like you being lactose intolerant and still wanting ice cream anyway.
And getting a cow.
It's just like it's
In my
just
backyard.
like no. You don't need the thing.
No, that's not it.
Okay, got it.
We say all this to say, Tiff was very, very adamant about
Her dog comes first, and that's it.
and sleeping in the bed.
Oh yeah, another thing. I never
No.
thought I would want to have a dog sleep in the bed, but it's not as bad as you think. It's really not.
I'm sorry, no. No.
And no one's saying they got to get in the covers with you, but they sleep on top.
Some people do.
Yeah,
I don't care if you sleep on the
that's
covers. I don't
annoying.
want
That's
any
crazy.
outside thingies on my covers. It's a Black culture thing. You got to change to your house clothes. I'm very much adamant about that.
Yep.
Come in from outside, you change your clothes into house clothes.
So you just put your dog in house clothes.
Got it. Put the dog in clothes and okay.
Yeah.
But no,
I hear you.
no,
Try it out.
no.
It's not as bad as you think.
But
The water's
yeah.
fine.
This has been our review. I know we didn't really go deep in topic because we could talk about this for another hour.
I know. We could really like dive into each couple, but we hit all the bases. I mean,
We hit all the bases.
And I feel like this is a really good conversation. If you watch the entire show, like you'll know everything we're talking about. So yeah, it felt a little sporadic and we were going here, going there, but
It wasn't sporadic for me, dog.
But if you know
Shiloh.
the show, you'll find the conversation interesting. We certainly hope that you do.
Listen, we're going to talk about everything and anything. And you've been listening to another episode of
The Twin Tapes Podcast.
We will actually catch y'all on the flippity flip.
Peace.
Bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Twin Tapes Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Twin Tapes _podcast. And we are now releasing episodes on Wednesdays.
It's the Twin Tapes. We just made you do a double take.
Double take.
It's the Twin Tapes. And